So we're just going to divide up Ukraine into like a post-war Berlin? That is what the U.S. envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, said during an interview with the Times, in which he's backtracking on right now on social media. So let's go ahead and break this all down. In the interview, Kellogg said that you could break apart Ukraine into three distinctive territories, one being controlled by the French and the English, the other one kind of a Ukrainian forces, which then there'll be a demilitarized zone, and then this side over here being held by the Russians. And to quote Kellogg during this interview, he says, you could almost make it look like what happened with Berlin after World War II, when you had a Russian zone, a French zone, and a British zone, and a US zone. And well, I mean, no one responded well to this. Funny enough, the Russians also didn't respond well to this at all. No one responded well to this. And so Kellogg took to social media. First, he says the Times article misrepresents what I said. I was speaking of a post-ceasefire resiliency force in support of Ukraine's sovereignty. Then he talked about the partitioning of Ukraine, in which he says that he was referencing areas or zones in which certain allied forces could take responsibility for. And then he says, in quotes, I was not referring to partitioning of Ukraine. The grand question is, do we believe Kellogg? I mean, he's been pretty much on the side of Ukraine from the get-go, but at the same time, you know he had to have read this article before it went out, right? He would have corrected it then. And I need to point the fact out that, once again, Democrats and Republicans in the United States all oppose on giving land to Russia and doing this thing. On top of that, even the Russians said, hey, we don't want this plan. We don't want NATO troops or European troops inside of Ukraine. So this was like a no on all fronts. But let's remember the important thing, what Ukraine wants. Because at the end of the day, it seems like everyone's playing a game with Ukraine without Ukraine being involved. And realistically speaking, Ukraine should get their land back. Russia invaded them, have slaughtered their civilians for no reason, have demolished full cities for no reason. Well, they give about 35 different reasons and then just let you decide which one that they claim is real. And at this moment, Ukraine is the only country that's actually going for peace, while Russia is still continuing to terrorize civilians every single day. Russia is the aggressor. Ukraine is the victim. We should be championing Ukraine, giving them everything they need to kick Russia out. Another great point to kind of point out is look where Kellogg put the demilitarized zone in Ukraine for 18 miles. No, that should be in Russia. Russia should absorb that in the sense of 18 miles once where the border is with Russia, 18 miles into Russia, that's where we put it. Sanctions should stay on Russia for many years and that money go to Ukraine. Or to pay back allies, which I don't think allies want money back. They want Ukraine to win and to stop Russia so that they don't have to send their own forces to fight Russia. Because ultimately, it's so much better just to send weapons than to send troops. And the crazy part is, as this is all going on, we're seeing the U.S. envoy to Russia, Steve Witkoff, doing these meetings with Putin, which make no sense because at the end of the day, Putin still wants everything from day one. Grand question is, why are we doing all these kind of shows? Why is Witkoff going there when we're not getting anything? Why do we keep having meetings when nothing is getting anywhere? The only real way to get Putin to do a ceasefire is by threatening him. By threatening him, giving Ukraine more weapons, and putting more pressure onto Russia and its economy.